Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Los Angeles Rams Insider Podcast. I'm your host and beat writer, Brock Vieira. You can check out all of our work at www.si.com/NFL/Rams/on-SI, where we drop double digit pieces of content every single day on your Los Angeles Rams, breaking news from the division, and of course, things happening around the league that could impact the franchise moving forward. So, today, we're going to talk about what happened during Sean McVay's and Les Snead's pressers. This is the first time they spoke since the end of the 2025 season, that coming after the NFC Championship game lost for them. And pardon me, we're able to pick up some information that the fans should know. So let's begin with the contracts. When it comes to the any extensions, the Rams are not prioritizing them right now. What they're looking at is, of course, impending free agents, free agency in general, and then the draft. Their approach to that is going to be this: the more they do in free agency, the less they have to worry about in the draft. That's kind of their approach. So when you hear something like that, you want to think that they're at least going to take care of either the cornerback or the safety position in free agency. Sean McVay did go out of his way to mention Cam Curl by name, so that's something to keep in mind. I wouldn't read too much into it, but in theory, if the Rams were to draft a safe, I mean, were to draft a cornerback, having a guy like Cam Curl, who has been that solid player who plays every snap in that role, along with a guy like Quentin Lake, who plays that star role, who plays every snap, that's the right type of foundation a young cornerback might need moving forward. When it comes to the rest of the roster, guys like Matthew Stafford, guys like Devontae Adams, and then the 2023 class, if there is to be any discussions regarding extensions, it will happen after the draft. At least that's what they want to do. There are several factors that could change that. Of course, the changing market, especially at wide receiver, since Puka Nakua's deal will need to get done. Something to keep an eye on, especially as the Seattle Seahawks look to navigate Jackson Smith and Jigba's expected contract. They're both, of course, in that 2023 draft class. When it comes to Matthew Stafford, the Rams are open to an extension, but that's likely not going to be a possibility, not a probability for them. The Rams are very comfortable with the year-to-year model that they set up several years ago, and that's what is going to be moving forward for both parties. Of course, an extension can happen, but again, what it seems like is Matthew Stafford is going to play this final year of this deal and then reevaluate next offseason. When it comes to Devontae Adams, no discussions have been had yet in regards to an extension. This is, of course, the final year of his current deal. He signed a 2-year deal in the previous offseason. 2023 class is very interesting. I mentioned Puka Nacua, Kobe Turner, Byron Young are members of that class. Steve Avila is a member of that class. The name you need to watch out for is Warren McClendon. There's been a lot of talk that the Rams might look to pick up a tackle in the draft in order to, in case McClellan doesn't work out. That's not the vibe that I've been getting from this team. From what I have felt and based off what they've said and how they've acted, they believe McClellan can be the long term future of this position. I think they're going to invest in that because the market is the way that it is, especially with the right tackle position. There's a lot of things that the Rams can do to save a little bit of money, a couple million here and there. One of those moves is, of course, extending McClellan now, getting him a 3-4 year deal where they can front load it. And of course, it's going to help out when you talk about maintaining the rest of the roster down the road. He's a key piece to them. He's a pillar of this offensive line. I don't see a reason why the Rams want to dilly dally, especially when you consider they're already getting a steal of a deal at the left tackle position when it comes to Alec Jackson's current deal. Some of the other important notes from what was said when it comes to the offensive coaching staff, how it's going to work out is this: Nick Schillhouse and Dave Ragone are both co-offensive coordinators. Schillhouse is going to operate what, from my understanding, be more of what Mike LaFleur did in terms of set the game plan, things of that nature. While Ragone, of course, is going to have a heavy amount of influence in the game plan, but will also be primarily working with Matthew Stafford, the role that he's occupied in the past 2 seasons with the Rams so far. Both guys are so they're going to be at the top. But there's another factor to this. That's going to be Cliff Kingsbury's role. It's a fluctuating role that I think the Rams and Sean McVay need to just work with him on a day-to-day basis to really define. But from our understanding, it's going to be this. Cliff Kingsbury is going to bring his veteran experience as both a play caller and a former head coach. He's going to essentially be Sean McVay's second in command. He's going to have and he's going to be involved in the offensive overview of things. What that means, we're not exactly sure yet, but his influence will be there. And that's going to be important to note when you hear stories of who could potentially be a successor to Matthew Stafford. Of course, the Cardinals released Kyler Murray today, or they set it up to so that he will be released. Cliff Kingsbury has that relationship. You do have to wonder: are the Rams setting up a potential move to bring in Murray as a potential successor to Matthew Stafford? Something to keep in mind of this, especially as the Rams define Kingsbury's role moving forward. Then you look at the spot Nate Childs vacated to become co-offensive coordinator, and that was the pass game coordinator. Rob Calabrese is going to essentially become that. He's a wide receivers coach. So from again our understanding, Calabrese will be the pass game coordinator in that type of sense, just not in title. And then Eric Yarber will continue to be the position coach, to the teaching the technique and things of that nature. And he does have Robert Woods as an assistant, him and Brian Allen, two new full time additions to the staff, former players as well. I both really love the process of teaching, so it's going to be a great opportunity for them to really get their feet wet in the coaching industry in an environment that produces high level guys. The one other thing to note is Aubrey Pleasant, his departure. What Sean McVay said about that is that they had multiple discussions, but at the end of the day, the Rams felt that it was best for all parties to part ways at this time. Pleasant and McVay worked together for a total of 7 years. Pleasant had two stints with the team. Jimmy Lake is and company are going to be the main factors on the coaching staff for the defensive secondary moving forward. The final major takeaway from what Sean McVay and Les Snead had to say is this: they're very comfortable where they're at right now. They're prepared to attack in free agency. In what way? I'm not too sure yet, but they're not really focused on any time beyond 2027. I wouldn't say this is an F them picks era yet, but I think there's going to be some behaviors that are going to reflect that. I do think they're going to use at least one draft pick on a cornerback, with one of the first rounders. What they do with their second one is going to be the biggest question, because I think that one is going to be potentially used in a trade. For who, I don't know yet. But there's a lot of possibilities for the Rams right now. But for two guys who want to win it, especially knowing that the clock is running out on Matthew Stafford's career, there seemed to be a sense of alignment in those two and a sense of rejuvenation for them to go get it in 2026. How this unfolds moving forward, we'll have to wait and see. That's going to be very interesting. That's be something that we will keep an eye on. This is Brock Vieira for the Los Angeles Rams Insider Podcast. We'll catch you all next time. Take care.